30 Little Unknown Facts You Did Not Know About The Matrix. The Matrix began as a comic book. Filmmaker Lana and Lily Wachowski originally conceived the storyline for The Matrix as a comic book. They had previously written comics book for Marvel. The unnamed city you see in The Matrix is Sydney, Australia. The whole production shot the entire film for both interior and exteriors in Australia. The studio didn't want Wachowski to direct. Warner Brothers originally thought that the Wachowskis, who had no direct experience, were unqualified to direct The Matrix. To prove their mettle, the Wachowskis wrote and directed the crime thriller Bound, which became a modest hit, and convinced the studio that they knew what they were doing. Martial arts choreographer Yong Woo Ping created the film's elaborate stunts and wire work. Both Will Smith and Nicolas Cage formally turned down the role of Neo. Will Smith said no that so he could make Wild Wild West. When asked Newsweek if there was any roles he regretted turning down, Nicolas Cage replied, "I don't really have any regrets. I think regret is a waste of time." Yet he allowed that there were movies that he probably would have benefited if circumstances in his life would have let them. Russell Crowe, Sean Connery, and Samuel L. Jackson could have been Morpheus. For Sean Connery, it was apparently a matter not of understanding the script. The actors were asked to brush up on their knowledge of philosophy before production began. The Wachowski had all the lead actors read Out of Control by Kevin Kelly and Introducing Evolutionary Psychology by Dylan Evans and Oscar Zarate in order to better understand the world of the movie. In the film, Neo actually hides his illegal computer files in a copy of Baudrillard's book. The movie is color-coded. Every scene that takes place within the computer world of The Matrix was given a green tint, while all the scenes that take place within the real world have a blue tint. In fact, the only time the color green appears in the real world scenes is in the Matrix code on the ship's computer screen. Hugo Weaving didn't have to look far inspiration for his character. He modeled Agent Smith's voice after the Wachowskis themselves. The lead actors trained every day for 4 months in order to pull off the fight scenes. Just like the Hong Kong martial art movies that influenced them, the Wachowskis wanted the actors, not stunt people, to be the ones fighting on screen. Keanu Reeves had cervical spine surgery prior to the training period that forced him to wear a neck brace throughout. Hugo Weaving had to undergo hip surgery after being injured during fight training. This completely shifted the shooting schedule, and Weaving's fight scenes were completed at the end of the production in order to allow time for him to heal. All in all, it was a tough shot for all the main actors. Hugo had hip surgery, Carrie-Anne hurt her hip and ankle, Lawrence got hit in the head, he got his eyelid sliced open. "I couldn't walk a couple of times," Reeves said. I'm exaggerating a bit, but there were a couple of sequences where I had to carry all the guns. It was about 50 pounds of weapons. I'm waiting for special effects sequences, the bullet hits, etc. There was one time where we stood for like 3 hours. Neo and Trinity's 3-minute lobby shootout took 10 days to shoot. No CGI was used, all of the explosion and gunfire were practical effects. The sunglasses for each character were custom designed by Blind Design. They weren't available to purchase until the film's sequels, The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, were released. The iconic bullet time effect was conceived and created specially for The Matrix. The famous swirling shot of Neo's gravity-defying backbend was made using a rig that contained 120 individual digital still cameras and 2 film cameras. The still images were carefully stitched together to create a shot frame by frame. The first test shot of the bullet time effect gave a nearly 360-degree view of an exploding trash can. The Wachowskis risked the film's entire budget just to make it the way they wanted. The original budget that the Wachowski pitched Warner Bros. Was over $80 million. Warner gave them $10 million, so they used all of it on the opening sequence with Trinity. The opening scene impressed executives at Warner so much they greenlit up the original budget. The film differentiates the Matrix and the real world through color. The scenes that take place within the Matrix are tinted green. Those that happen in the real world have more of a normal coloring. The fight scene between Neo and Morpheus has yellow tint since it takes place in neither. Keanu actually climbed out the window without a stuntman. During the phone conversation between Neo and Morpheus within the Metacortex offices, Morpheus instructs Neo to go through the window. Keanu did it himself without the aid of stunt double 34 stories in the air. The helicopter scene almost caused the film to shut down. They flew the chopper through the restricted airspace in Sydney, Australia. Laws in New South Wales had to be changed in order to let the Matrix proceed with the filming, which might explain why the Morpheus rescue took 6 months to prepare and plan. The Wachowskis worked on their vision for the movie for 5.5 years. The final product arrived after working through 14 screenplay drafts, took up 500 storyboards. Morpheus in Greek mythology is the god of dreams, which is ironic since he's the man who wakes people up from the dream states and introduces them to reality. Keanu Reeves only has 80 lines in the first 45 minutes of the film. Of those 80 lines, 44 are questions. That's always half of his dialogue and amounts to about 1 question per minute. All of the color blue was removed from the exterior shots. The idea behind this was that it would make the outside world of the Matrix seem more grim. Neo is an anagram for one, which is fitting, really, since Neo is the one. The opening sequence took 6 months of training to prepare for, 4 days to shoot. Carrie Ann Moss, Trinity, twisted her ankle during filming but kept it a secret. She was afraid that if she told someone, they would recast her, so she kept it hidden. The glyphs on the screen consist of reverse letters, numbers, and Japanese katakana characters. Given Neo's choice, the Wachowskis have both said they would choose the blue pill. Gary Oldman and Samuel L. Jackson were both considered for the role of Morpheus. The film's legacy began to show within the 3 years of its release. By mid-2002, the bullet time sequence had parodied in over 20 films. When Carrie Ann Moss saw the first cut, it was the first time she'd ever seen herself in a movie. Richard Walker, founder of sunglass company Blind, competed against Ray-Ban and Arnett to design the glasses for the movie. He personally designed custom sunglasses for each character based simply on the unique names in order to get the job. Once he got it, Walker was flown into Sydney to make custom glasses for the duration of the filming.